Okay, ready. Strategy number three. Strategy number three, and I got a card for this one. Strategy number three is resilience. Resilience. And I'm learning a lot about resilience right now. You've heard me tell the story probably, but my sister, I wrote a blog post 2 or 3 years ago on resilience, and she emailed me back. And my sister was hit by a car as a pedestrian, and her head hit the pavement. And she was a professor at University of Kentucky, and she had to give up the job and everything. She's got a brain injury, and her attention is just so hard. She can't join Zoom calls. She can't be on calls very long. There's a lot of things that she just can't do anymore. And when I wrote this piece on resilience, I'm sure I said in the blog piece, I said, resilience is about bouncing back. And she said, I don't believe that's true. I believe resilience is getting up and moving forward with what you have. Resilience is getting up and moving forward with what you have, because the fact is, when you get knocked down, things are lost. Even if it's innocence, there's all sorts of things that are lost. And so there's a grieving process of that thing is lost. You got to accept that as part of the resilience process. So I wrote down for here, when I think about resilience, it goes back to happiness and things like that. Resilience is a choice. And it's a choice about whether you're going to spin up or spin down. And by the way, when you get hit by stuff, choose to spin down some of the time, right? Spend the time to grieve the thing that's lost. That's okay for a certain amount of time. And then it's time to choose to spin up. And my favorite story from my personal journey of that was, and I have COPD, the cardiac obstructive pulmonary disease. And we suspected something was going on. It's in my family, genetic thing. My dad died of it. His brother died of it. My brother was diagnosed with it at the time. And I could tell that I was running at the time. And I remember coming back to the house, and I told Carrie, man, I feel like I was dying. She heard that word differently than ever before. We all said, it's dying out there. She heard it, and she just got scared. We need to go see a doctor. I was like, okay. So we went to see a doctor, went into a pulmonologist. We did all the tests. And she said, you have COPD. And one of the things about COPD is that we offer psychological support for that. And I asked her, why? And she said, well, because usually depression and other things set in with it. And I said, well, here's my view of just being diagnosed with COPD. I'm balding. I can't get any of that hair back. But you know what? I don't look at it. Other people look at it more than I look at it. So it's more of their issue than my issue. So just like I don't need to grow my hair back, I'm not going to get my lungs back. And I'm going to lose more and more hair. That's going to go. So that's my view of COPD. And so that's called spinning up. And my pulmonologist said, yeah, you don't need any psychological support. We're not going to give you a therapist. Like, good. And so part of that is, but what do you want to take on with this? What's your perspective of resilience? And so recently, when it's hard for me to climb stairs, when it's hard for me to do things and all that kind of stuff, I measure my resilience by how quickly I recover psychologically, physically, emotionally. How quickly do I recover from it? And that's how I look at resilience. Recovery time. And guess what? If something is getting under your skin, a family member or something else, you need to choose to be more resilient with that family member, because you're choosing to let them under your skin. They just don't get under your skin. You're choosing it. So there's resilience in that. You got to spin up with that. And boy, those are challenges. I got those challenges. Anybody have those challenges? I got those challenges. So part of that is like, hey, I can't let this happen to me. So, um, take a minute and a half, no, just a minute, and write down what are your practices for resilience? How do you do your recovery?